It is with great excitement that I welcome you to MIVA's webinar series, Ready, Set, Connect. Joining us today is Gina Moak. She's a financial service specialist at Regions Bank. She's here to talk to you today about managing your money. This webinar, Money Matters, will provide you with the ability to understand how money works in the real world and provide you with the skills and knowledge necessary to make smart decisions about your finances. For example, managing your debt-to-income ratio, managing credit scores, and simply maintaining financial health and wellness. In an effort to improve the quality of this webinar, I have placed all participants on mute and ask that you would please stay muted during the presentation. If you have any questions you would like to ask during the presentation, please use the chat box at the bottom of your control panel, and we will answer those accordingly. Just so you do know, we are recording this webinar, and we will upload this following today's presentation so you can retrieve this at a later time for your parents and your students. I realize we've all had to adapt to some crazy schedules this week based on the circumstances of the past several days here in the Midlands and around South Carolina. So I appreciate your patience, and I'm going to go ahead and turn this over to Miss Gina Moak, and she's going to begin her presentation. Thank you so much.
Hi there. Thank you guys so much for joining this morning. It's great to be here. So just want to get started with managing your money. Normally I do this, and I have students in front of me to ask questions or give me their feedback. So it'll be a little bit different for me today. Where do I need to push? Click. Sorry. All right, so let's get started. The main agenda that we're going to be talking about today, and hopefully we'll get through all of this, is what are the steps for setting financial goals? How can you track your daily spending habits? How can you prepare a personal savings and spending plan to estimate your monthly income and expenses? Are there tools to help you manage your cash flow? And are there ways to increase your income and decrease your spending? Some of the things I want you guys to be thinking about as we do this are, what you may possibly want to do as a career choice in the future. So taking these tools that we're going to be talking about today and thinking about how much your future income is going to be. Of course, you can use this now in your life as, you have a job, after school, but thinking about what your future might hold, what kind of car you want, what kind of house you want, and you can, find tools on the internet to help you with that and start thinking about, is your career going to be the right choice for the kind of lifestyle that you want? So thinking of setting financial goals, the first thing you need to know is be specific. Hang on one second. Gotcha. So I'm sure you're thinking, why do you think it is important to set financial goals? Or why do people set financial goals? A lot of times, you're going to set financial goals to make a big purchase so that you can buy a house, so that you can buy a car or go on a fancy vacation. And of course, right now you guys are thinking college, so that's a very large expense for you. And so it's good to be thinking about ways to save to make those. Most importantly, it's also good to have an emergency plan. If you're saving for a fancy vacation to Hawaii, but you haven't also set aside an emergency fund and your car breaks down and you end up using your vacation funds to fix your car, you're not going to be very happy about that. So certainly want to set financial goals, specific financial goals, have a plan in mind on how you're going to get the money that you want to do certain things in life. So we're going to watch a little hokey video, to be honest. This is one of our past presidents who does not appear on a dollar bill. So we'll hear from him now. Is it on play? Uh-oh, that's okay. right, don't worry about it. We'll skip it. All right, so we don't get to hear from the hokey president. That is perfectly fine. I can tell you exactly what he's going to be saying. Go ahead to the next slide. That's good. Perfect. All right, excuse us 1 second. All right. So when setting financial goals, first off, you want to identify your financial goal. So yours might be something like sending your kids to college, buying a car, making a down payment on a house, going on vacation. For you guys as well, it may be making a purchase that you don't want to have to ask your parents for. Also, another thing to think about, organize your financial goals. Break each goal down into small goals, such as short-term goals or things that you can accomplish in less than 1 year. Medium-term goals are things that you can accomplish in 1 to 3 years, and long-term goals that may take 5 years or longer. Educating yourself. With a little effort, you can learn enough to make educated decisions that may increase your net worth many times over. Read personal finance websites, blogs, magazines, and books on managing and growing your money. The power of education goes a long way, and you never can, be too educated. So get out there on the internet. There's resources everywhere. Regions.com is one of them. You can click on insights, and there are articles about being a college student, how to tailgate on a budget. There are financial calculators on how much is a car going to cost me a month, things like that. Educate yourself. Evaluate your progress. Review your progress regularly, such as monthly or quarterly, to determine if your program is working. If you're not making satisfactory progress on a particular goal, reevaluate your approach and make changes as necessary. Keep in mind that setting financial goals not only gives you peace of mind, it can even stretch your income. Okay, so a personal spending plan. I don't know if you guys were able to get the handouts that Miss Samantha sent out, but if you guys want to look at those, there is a section on the handout that says create a spending plan. So after setting your financial goals, a good way to start taking control of your financial situation is to develop and follow through on a personal spending plan or a budget. Basically, a spending plan is a step-by-step plan for meeting expenses in a given period of time. It is about choices, choosing how to make money and choosing how to spend money. So a spending plan is actually going to help you by reducing the amount of anxiety you have, not knowing whether you have enough money to pay your bills when they're due. I can tell you as an adult with 3 kids and a job that wondering about the bills is not something I want to have to worry about. I've got a budget and I know that I'm going to be able to make those payments and know in the back of my mind that things are covered. So it's great. It also gives you a sense of control over your money rather than letting the money have control over you. It helps you build assets that will improve the quality of life for you and your family. A spending plan should ideally plan for more money coming in than going out. It should be balanced, so it means there's income and spending, which includes savings, that are equal, and that's okay. You also have to be flexible, and you have to be realistic. If it's unbalanced for you when you start looking at it, then we have other things that we can do to help with that. So tracking your daily spending, this is an awesome tool. You've got on your handout a personal spending plan, and this is something that, if you don't currently have money that you can put in there on your own income you've got coming in, this is where you can go out there and look to the future and see how much money you're planning on making with the job that you want and the type of housing that you want, etc. Knowledge is power when it comes to your monthly cash flow. Knowing where all of your money comes from, which is your income, and where it goes, which are your expenses every month, helps you take control of your financial situation. So there are 4 steps to making a spending plan. It's keeping track of your daily spending, and you might want to use a spreadsheet like this one to record your daily expenses. Also, determine your monthly income and expenses. You can find ways to decrease spending and find ways to increase income. Skip it. Okay, so where does your money go? Sorry, we had to skip the video again. So let me just tell you to say that it's very common for people to spend all of the money they make and not have anything left over to save for their goals. Many people say they don't have anything to show for their hard work at the end of the month. Here's an example that might seem familiar to you guys. How often do you take a $20 bill maybe you've gotten from your parents or out of your bank account, and at the end of the day you really don't know where it went? I think all of us experience that at some point. To be in control of your money, you must understand your cash flow. Cash flow is about the money you earn, spend, and save. So to create a snapshot of your cash flow, keep a personal spending diary over a period of time. And I can't stress that enough. Writing down where you spend your money is so important, and so many people don't do that nowadays. I think my mom still keeps a checkbook register with a detail of every single transaction she makes. It's actually really important to do that. Just because you can go on your cell phone and check your bank account or check your bank account at the ATM doesn't mean that that's actually money you have to spend. If there's an outstanding item that hasn't come through yet, the bank doesn't know yet. So really important. I haven't checked into this yet, but there's got to be an app for that, for jotting down your spending as you go through the day. Even if it's just on the notes in your phone, just keeping track of what you spend. No matter how high or low tech you want to be with your personal finance software, or even if it's just a notebook that you stick in your back pocket, just keep track every time you spend money. So increase your income. The next step, that's good. And the next step in preparing a personal spending plan is to determine your monthly income and expenses. So look at your handout and the far left column under the personal spending plan, and what you're going to enter there is dollar amounts where they apply. Most people do have entries, one to two entries under income, whether it's your wages, Social Security, things like that. And there again, that's a thing that you guys can go out there and research your career choices and see what your spending plan is going to look like. So there's two categories of income. You have gross income and net income. And there are some differences in those types. Gross income is going to be your total income before taxes are taken out of that money and before any deductions. For instance, my paycheck, I have a lot of deductions because I have taxes, as well as all of my insurance and some of my retirement savings comes out of my paycheck before I actually receive the funds. After all that's taken out, that's your net income. That's the cash that you're actually going to bring home and have to spend. So, knowing your expenses. Many people overestimate their purchasing power. They need to look at their total salary as the money available. They think about their total salary as the money available to spend. But you have to base your spending plan on your net income, what you're actually going to bring home in your pocket. Okay, so talking about expenses, looking at your handout in the middle of the next page where it says My Expenses, there are a list of fixed expenses. Now, fixed expenses do not change from month to month. Typically, you're not going to have any control over how much you pay, except before you buy. But things like this are including rent or mortgage, your property taxes, your insurance, daycare if you have children, your car payment. So these are things you're going to want to think about when you're looking at a house or you're looking at a really fancy, cool car, is that this monthly payment that you're getting into isn't going to change. There is no way for you to change it. You can't make it smaller. You can't make it go away. It's a payment that's going to be there regardless. Now on the far right side, you've got variable expenses. And variable expenses can be based on your behavior, savings, utilities, food, etc. You may have some degree of control over how much you pay. For example, if you decide to lower your thermostat during the winter, you're going to save on heating costs. But generally, you're going to have these expenses as well. We're all going to buy gas. We're all going to pay for food. But there are some differences from month to month. So when you're filling in your expenses, both fixed and variable, You guys can change the categories to whatever you want. If you don't have a car payment, you can take that line out and save on. All right, so preparing your worksheet on a monthly basis will help you determine your cash flow, which includes all of the money coming in and out. So the goal is to have more coming in than going out. So now that we've discussed gross and net income, as well as fixed and variable expenses, let's look at this family as an example. First, they have listed their combined monthly income sources and income amounts. And for this example, obviously we use their net wages. This is what they're bringing home after taxes. Be sure to consider whether your income sources are continuous or if they might stop in the future. But in this case, the Weavers bring home, Mr. Weaver is bringing home about $3,500 from his IT job. And Mrs. Weaver works part-time at a local nursery, and she's earning $1,140 per month. And so they also do have about $10 a month from interest on investments that they've made. So here are fixed and variable expenses for the Weaver family. So here are some things to keep in mind. I know that you can see on the right-hand side my variable expenses. The very first thing under variable expenses is savings. And there's a reason for that, and that's because it's the most important, okay? Always remember, pay yourself first. And for you guys that are just, still in school now, start it now. If you get $100 from your grandmother for your birthday, take 10 of it and set it aside. If you get money for Christmas, take a piece of that money and set it aside. So you're paying yourself first before you go out and buy the boots you want or, the clothes that you wanted that you didn't get, things like that. That's going to be an important tool for you as you get older. I can't tell you how hard it is to start that habit once you get older. So it's a habit that you can do now. Every time you get money, set some of it aside. You should set a savings goal that's appropriate for you and save toward it. An easy way to ensure that you save is to set up a direct deposit with regular transfers into your savings account. And this is going to be once you've got an actual checking account up and running. So the next group of expenses to list is the variable expenses. Remember, I talked about the savings. So just keep that in mind. Now, the Weavers are currently doing pretty good with their fixed and variable expenses. It looks like they've got about $80 left with a surplus to, monthly left over. And that's after they've saved $200. So some things they can do with that is put that $80 toward a specific savings goal. If they want to take the kids to Disneyland, or they could treat themselves to going out to eat, because I don't really see that on their budgeting plan there. So, okay, spending and savings plan tools. In addition to the monthly payment schedule, there are other spending plan tools that you can use to help build and manage your cash flow, including envelopes, which I know sounds funny, but I work at a bank and I see different people from all different types of life. A lot of people use this method. A budgeting box or even a computer spreadsheet. And a lot of banks nowadays offer online software to help you do this, and that's actually what I use for my budget is our software with Regions. The envelope system, though, is pretty cool. I do know a lot of people who use it. You basically make an envelope for each expense category, especially the variable expenses, if you want to try to keep them at a certain level. Say, I only want to spend $100 dining out this month. So I'm only going to spend $100 in McDonald's and Starbucks and, going to get pizza. So I'm going to label the envelope dining out, and I'm going to put $100 in it, and that is all I'm going to be able to use to go eat out. And that's going to keep me basically on track and on target. It's really easy. Some people find that the debit card's hard to do. It's really easy to swipe that card and not think about the money coming out of the bank that you need to be using for other things. The budget box system is just kind of a small box with dividers for each month. And basically, when you receive a bill, you check the due date and place it behind the divider that represents the bill's due date. as you receive income and pay your bills right away. So, as you receive income, pay your bills right away so you will not be tempted to spend your money on something else instead. Obviously, computer spreadsheets are out there for you guys to use. Also, like I said, most financial institutions have this kind of online resource for you to enter in all of your transactions and your bills, things like that. So ask your parents if you want. Are they using that kind of budgeting or how they're keeping track? I know personally through my regions, it's called My Green Insights, but it pulls in every single transaction I make, even from other institutions, and labels it for me. So I have a pie chart. I can see where my money goes. I also put all my bills in there so I can remember when they're due, and also set up a budget for certain things. Dining out is one of my weaknesses, so I do have a budget for that, and it tells me throughout the month how I'm doing on that budget. So ask your parents how they're doing it. Think about, which of these ways they're using and which way might appeal to you. So keeping accurate records, this tip might seem really obvious, but it's really, really important. If you're going to successfully make a spending and savings plan, you really have to keep accurate records. So just organizing your files so it's easy, keeping your tax records, things like that are really important if you want to be able to lay your hands on your personal things as you get older, your bills and things like that. So, moving on. So what do we do when we've got more expenses than we have income? If your spending diary or your monthly spending plan shows that you have more expenses than income, there are ways to turn this around. But remember, everyone has different priorities, and you'll make the decisions that are right for you. So usually it is critically important to pay your necessary household expenses first, being your rent, your mortgage, your utilities, and buying food. I mean, we all know that those are the main things that we've got to keep a roof over our head, and food, and we need electricity for heat and air, things like that. We got to have water. So keeping that in mind, a lot of utility companies, etc., will actually help. They have programs to help you lower your bill. You can also receive assistance, and if your expenses exceed your income, or if you want to save for a big purchase like a house, car, or whatever, then you definitely want to increase your income and cut your expenses. So what can you do? If you look at your handout, you've got increased income and decreased spending. And these are some of the ways that you can increase your income. Obviously, getting a second job. Put a hobby to work. I like this one. Cooking, organizing, housekeeping, gardening, things that you really like to do that maybe other people do not. You can always ask friends if they need help with certain things. Kind of use it as a second job. You can always sell on an online marketplace. When my kids were much younger, I used to love to sell their clothes on eBay and buy their clothes on eBay. So I got cut our spending well there. And you guys, of course, at this point in your lives, you guys can babysit, and pretty much any money that you're getting from a job outside of school is going into your pocket. But keep in mind that as you get older, there are more expenses for you and places where your money goes. So keep in mind that volunteering is a great thing to do for fun, getting together with friends and going to volunteer instead of going to the movies and paying for tickets and popcorn and drinks. There's all kinds of different things you can do that way. So for the bottom half of your handout, decreasing spending increases your cash flow. These are some of the ways that you can cut back on your spending. If you're a cash carrier, if you like to carry cash around, cut down on that and only carry small amounts. As you get older, definitely using the direct deposit option for your banking so that money goes directly into your accounts. Control or limit the use of credit cards. That's critically important and a lesson learned very much so by many college students that using a credit card can be difficult to master. So it's only for certain things. Paying it off and keeping it paid off is the best way to go. Writing down your savings goals and refer to them often as a reminder. Even if you're just sticking your savings goal on a fridge or on a mirror in your bathroom, if you are currently saving up for a car, or even your college expenses, writing that down and reminding yourself of that. Other little things that we all do, taking your lunch instead of eating out, shopping around and getting the best deals, all of those are great things to look at. And we'll skip the video. It's okay. All right, give me 1 second. We're almost. I'm going to go ahead and tell you a little bit about stretching your paycheck. The 1 week rule. When money is tight, hold off on non-essential purchases for 7 days. So after the waiting period, you might actually find that you have lost interest in the purchase. So when heading to the mall, and let's say you've got $100 and there's that great $80 pair of boots that you've just got to have, wait on it a week. Pretty much they will be there when you get back. But after a week of considering whether you really want to spend almost all of your money on the boots, 7 days will help you to, to put that in perspective. Budget busters. Most of us have a specific weakness for impulse spending. So figure out what your biggest impulse purchase is and commit to thinking about whether it's a want or a need before buying. This would be your Starbucksaholics. This would be me. I stop at the gas station constantly to get Diet Mountain Dew. And then if I have the kids with me, it's, well, they want to drink, and it ends up being a $25 trip into the gas station. So we stay away from going into the gas station. Finding freebies instead of meeting friends at a coffee house, restaurant, mall, movies. Get together for a walk. Go to a free concert or a museum event. Using your creativity will definitely keep your social life going without spending too much money. Also, renting. Now, this kind of definitely be something to think about as you get older, but you really can rent just about anything, power tools and things like that. I know my husband is big on tools, and he always wants the newest tool when he needs this tool and that tool, but they're very expensive. So you can actually rent those things for a project. So something to just keep in mind. Obviously, bargain hunting, always looking for discounts, take advantage of group discounts, waiting for sales, weighing the quality versus the price, comparison shopping, all of those good things. And those are things you guys can start doing now that'll be good habits for you later on in life. We've got a whole bunch of other things, obviously, that you can do to fuel your savings. Little things around the house. You can help out with your parents. When you go to wash your clothes, put them in cold water, or, don't bump the thermostat up when you're chilly. Maybe your parents are trying to save a little money there too. Using the library for books and videos, things like that. So just keeping those things in mind. So I hope that you guys learned a lot today, and certainly feel like that you guys are going to be leaving with different steps for setting financial goals. Use the worksheet. Like I said, use your resources and go out, find out how much money your career plan is going to make you. Find out what kind of house you want and how much it's going to cost. Find out the car you want and how much that loan payment is going to be, and start looking at it now. And then also for you in the right this minute, start saving. That's the most important thing. If you didn't get anything out of this webinar at all, get that. Paying yourself first is so important, and it's important for you guys to start doing that now. So I'm not saying don't spend your Christmas money. I'm saying put a little bit of it back, and you can set a goal. If there's something important that you want and you know you're going to have to either help your parents pay for it or pay for it yourself, that's going to be your goal, and that's what you're setting that money aside for. So I appreciate you guys, and certainly get in touch with Samantha if there's anything I can do for you guys, and I'd be happy to.
So I'd just like to take a moment to thank Ms. Moog for joining us today and sharing this valuable information with our students. Let me go back a minute. I'm not sure you can all hear me. Again, I'd just like to take a moment to thank Ms. Moog for joining us today and sharing this valuable information with us. Ms. Moog has a full menu of financial programs that she can bring to your school based on setting financial goals, and all kinds of programs from kindergarten all the way up through college and then some. Please don't hesitate to contact Ms. Moak if you would like additional information on these programs or if you have any questions. Again, thank you for joining us today. NEBA has made it possible for our constituents to connect with us in many new ways. We encourage you to follow NEBA on social media, Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, and Pinterest. Please connect with us on the third Thursday of each month at 9 o'clock a.m. Our next webinar is scheduled for November 19th, and we look forward to having you with us.